Hey, you guys, this is your girl, Ebony Nicole, the Vice President of the Rochester Black Authors Association, and we are here again for another interview with another fantastic author. But before we get into knowing who she is and listening to what she has to say, you already know that if you're watching this on Facebook, to go ahead and share, like, and make sure you follow us. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so that you can be in the know of all the fantastic authors that we will bring forward. And if you are listening on Spotify, make sure you follow us because we want you to be in the know as well. I will give you all the details about our handles on these social medias at the end as always. But for now, let's get into this conversation. Miss Jackie, welcome. We are so honored to have you here. Won't you tell us who you are? I already said your name, but tell us who you are and where you're from.
Sure. My name is Jacqueline P. Walker, but I go by Jackie. And I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, raised in Washington, D.C., and now I live in Bowie, Maryland.
Okay, Washington, D.C. So you were born in a Jamaican born woman in D.C.
Yes.
How old were you when you came here?
I was 11 when I came to Washington, D.C., yes.
Have you traveled around the United States to see other cities?
Well, yes, I was, as I said, I live in Bowie, Maryland now, but I actually went to college in New York at Hofstra University. So that's where I got my undergraduate degrees at Hofstra in New York. So,
so you are an author. Tell us. I was just wondering about your travels because I like to travel. So I'm just going to go back. People are like, why would she ask her if she traveled everywhere? I love to travel. So I'm always curious if people love to travel just like me and go across the state. So across this country, rather. So that's why I'll ask that. But as an author, tell us what your books are about and give us some insight on those.
Sure. I've written 3 books. One is a small poetry chat book, Mothers, Sisters, Friends, that was really appropriate yesterday for Mother's Day.
Yes.
There's a book of poetry, scriptures and poetry, honoring women and mothers and just the female bond.
Yeah.
Then I have a book of essays, Lyrics of My Reality. That's how it does again. It's a combination of essays and poetry. But the book that my most recent book and one that I'm really promoting is A Season of Disruption. And it is a fictional memoir that really speaks to my Jamaican heritage and speaks to actually my family's immigration journey to the US, and just also pays homage to all the Caribbean women who took this journey for different reasons and how, their courageous acts in a lot of ways. And I speak to my particular situation. My mother actually saved their families and really built pathways for the generations forward. For me to say that, as I said, I came here at 11 years old, I went to Hofstra University, I did graduate studies at the University of Maryland Global Campus, I have certificates in workplace communications and data analytics, and I'm a certified professional technical communicator. And all this is through, my mother and the journey she took and her courage and the risk that she took to bring us here, to give me this, because the story really builds in terms of how she went through that. And for me to go through all that, to get here, as I said, to go to House, to do all this stuff and get opportunities like, I'm an AKA, I played Alpha Kappa Alpha. So I have all these, actual extra, you say, benefits, that things that my mother could never dreamed of, or she never ever had the opportunity to even think about doing. So
this is generation. This is how when you make a decision, now it can affect not only you, but the future.
Exactly. And it builds a legacy.
It builds a legacy, surely enough. Because when you seeing your mom can do it, then you have the audacity in you, the tenacity, the strength in you to do it as well. And then your own kids and grandkids and nephews and nieces and cousins, they're like, well, it's literally in our blood to blaze trails. It's literally in our blood to exceed the I would say, what is it, like the bars that our ancestors have set. It's our job not to only meet them, but exceed them. And that's what you did. That is awesome.
Exactly. So,
I love that. I love that. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So, but that, as I said, that's really the premise of my book. And it really goes through, the overarching theme in the book really is that, obstacles are going to come in life. Obstacles are part of life.
Yes.
But when you overcome them, you don't just overcome them for yourself, but when you overcome them, you motivate others because they see what you did and you encourage them to not just achieve, but to go beyond that, as you said, and to soar higher. So that's really the message that this book leaves. And that was really my inspiration about really writing this book, not just to detail my mother's story or my family's story per se, but to really bring that message across to inspire others and to encourage them to say, no matter what, don't give up, persevere, because you can make it through. And titling the book A Season of Disruption was deliberate to say, just as I said, obstacles and trials come, but they come for a season.
I was going to ask you about that title. Thank you. Yes.
They're just a disruption. They come for a season. Don't let them take over your entire life. Keep it in that perspective. This is a season of disruption, and I'm going to get through that season, because this is how we're talking about it's very cold now, but spring and summer.
We were just talking about we talking about this weather change finally, and being able to turn off our heat. But I love the title and the message, A Season of Disruption, because sometimes we forget it's a season and we think it's going to be forever.
Right.
But it's not. If we can weather this,
right.
If we can get through this, we can look back and like, whew, that tried to kill me, but I made it.
But I made it.
Here. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that with your message, it will show other children who have immigrated here from other countries, because that has been a thing, like in the last 20, 30 years, people coming over here and looking for a better life. But just because you have come here doesn't mean you are shut out of doors. No, these doors can be open to you.
Yes.
You want to go through them. Sometimes you got to knock real hard. Sometimes you need a bulldozer to get through, like us.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody did. Exactly. Nobody, not especially being Black and brown people, we got to knock real hard, and so it's just about knowing. I see where my mom came from. I know where my heritage is, and I love and respect it, but I know that there's more for me.
Right.
And I love that message. I love that.
Exactly. And it also goes into really, I'm showing that sometimes, when you hit these trials, obstacles, or disruptions, etc., you have to make some unmanageable choices.
Yeah.
And you have to make some decisions, because my mother had to make some grave decisions. There was a family tragedy, and suddenly she was widowed and left with 5 children between the ages of 8 and 15. And as I said, she never had these opportunities that I did. And she was in a third world country. Yeah. Suddenly widowed with 5 children, as I said, between the ages of 8 and 15. And it's like, what do? I don't have life insurance. I don't have a bunch of money in the bank, but I have dreams for my children. And I have hopes for them and whatnot. And my grandmother lived in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So my mother said, okay, the thing that I could do is I could go visit her, right? Knowing that I don't know how long I can stay, but I can take a chance.
Yeah.
But what do I do now with 5 children? Because they're between the ages of 8 and 15, right? I can't, there's no way she can just pack it. No one is just gonna let her take say, oh, bring them all. Come
Bring
on.
all 5 kids.
Right,
Yeah. That's 6
come
additional
on.
people in the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But not only that, to get visas for them, not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that could be expensive by itself.
Exactly. So,
that's not even
so she was taking that choice. But then at the same time, she couldn't find anyone to take 5 children in. And she thought her next best choice was to find someone who would come and stay in the house with these 5 children. And she thought she had that worked out. And about a week before she left, they said, change your mind, not coming. And she said, okay, now what do I do? What do I do? And I had a 15-year-old sister who said, go, because I've got this.
Oh, come on, sister.
Yes, she did. And so that's what my mother did. My mother had to make that unmanageable choice, and she did. She got on that plane and left 5 children between the ages of 8 and 15, living in a house with my 15-year-old sister in charge to watch over us and for us to do what we needed to do so that she could figure it out. And that's really lays the foundation for what goes from there. The book then takes you through really her journey and the obstacles that she ran into when she came, because again, it wasn't smooth sailing of, okay, now I can just come and I can just get a real visa to stay and then I can get my children. Wasn't like that. So it takes you through her journey. And the things that she went through and how, again, she had to make some unimaginable choices again that you will see in the book to work that out. And at the same time, it also takes you through the parallel journey of these 5 children living on their own and what they go through and how they, how each side doesn't just try to survive, but actually strives and thrives. And then how merge back together, and then actually even goes into an epilogue of telling you where all the 5 kids are today and what they've done, etc. So
this is a fictional memoir, but
and
it's loosely based on her life.
It is all the book. The content of the book is all true. I call it a fictional memoir only because I changed the names. I changed the names, and I changed a few of the city names in Jamaica. But the story
is real, but
it's real.
The story is real. But the characters.
I just changed the name.
Are real.
I changed the name.
Situations and things are real. Gotcha.
The names are changed, but what you read about the characters and who they are, that's all real. Everything about the book is real, except that I just changed people's names.
And how did your family feel when you told them, I'm gonna write a book about Mom's story? Is your mom still here?
Yes, she is.
How did she feel about this? Like you're going to write a story about her life.
I didn't tell everyone that I was writing the story, and I did not tell my mother. My oldest sister knew. She knew, but no one else knew. When I published the book, that's when I actually took it to my mother and sat down and showed it to her, and she was just like, I didn't know. I don't think she first knew how to react. And then, when she took the book and she read it over, because, you go through your life, you live your life, you do what you have to do. And then when she read it, she was like, in a way, overwhelmed, but overwhelmed in a way of being thankful to God. So, when you read the story and say, gosh, the way it could have turned out. But I know how it turned out, so she was happy, and my other brothers and sisters, and I changed, like I said, I changed the names because I was like, I'm not telling anyone, but they were fine with it too. So
that's good. What I love is that you did draw from actual experience. In that way, it can be more relatable to people. Knowing this is what her family. This is what Author Jackie's family did actually go through this.
This is actually what we went through.
True things. And I think that for your mom, sometimes we don't tell our moms all the backstory to our lives. But I could only imagine when she got the chance to read how you said that everything was parallel. So she's doing this in New Jersey and you guys are down in Jamaica. And she's like probably worried, but your sister got it handled.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's in line. Everybody's
Yeah.
going to school, doing their chores, doing homework, eating,
Right.
going to bed, doing it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
And I think, as you said, that's the part that she really had to digest to say, you know what? I left all 5 of you guys, and you know, it really hit me now that no one came from day to day or week to week. There was no adult coming day to day or week to week to look over you guys. You were just there, you know. There was like maybe once a month, because my mother would send money back and it went to, you know, an adult. And once a month they would drop that money off. But everything else, you know, we were just there from day to day, and my sister was handling everything. When that money came, she had to figure out how to handle it, you know. So and I think that was what kind of hit my mother. It's like she never really looked at it, you know, from that perspective. And now when she looked at it, it was like, wow, you know. But also, you know, I think even like my brothers and sisters, because being the youngest, and I was home longest with my mother. And so that's why I even got more of her story in terms of when she was here, that I could actually write and document. And some of the things that I wrote, my brothers was like, I never knew she had to go through this. I never knew she had to deal with this. So, you know, it was eye-opening for them. And then you mentioned the generations of my nieces and nephews, you know, who have all done great. And I know I have great nieces and nephews. And one of my great nieces, actually, she's about 12 now, and she actually took the book and she read it. And she read the book and she was just so excited because, one, we gave her a foundation to see where she came from. And her family. So that, but then she was just so thankful, saying, because of, you know, what great grandma did, and with what you guys went through, I look at my life now, that's a breeze. And I have to be so thankful that I can do all these wonderful things because of that. So, you know, that makes it worthwhile.
It does, because you know what? I think kids these days have it made. The things that they have to go through, we would have. I'm 39, and the stuff that they go through, I'm like, we barely survived the 90s. What is happening here? Like, we ain't have cell phone, all this freedom that you all have. And I think that with your great niece reading that, she can now see, like, how, if she was 12 years old, something that was around that age, if she was 12, how would she be able to handle not having a parent in the home? And even maybe when she gets 15, if she thinks, if my mom and dad had to leave to go somewhere, would I be mature enough to handle it? It does take it does test it. I'm listening to you talk about the story, and I do want to get a copy. So before we end, we're gonna make sure you share your information, because I want to grab a copy because it sounds very interesting. I think that what it will do for young adults, I'll say because young adults, like around your great niece age, maybe and
teenagers,
older, teenagers, it will actually test their own level of maturity. Am I mature as I think I am? Would I be able to handle at 15 a household of 4 younger siblings? You know what? My mom is thousands of miles away, and I'm here. Can I handle this? And they will see, no, I would not be able to. So I think that's just pretty awesome. So I often ask the authors, you can do this or not, but if you would be open to, are you open to reading maybe like a paragraph of one of the books, or poetry, or
I can. I could, in the book, actually, you know, because as I said, I started with poetry first. And so my dedication in the book is actually a poem.
Well, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay. This poem is called Tomorrow. And it says, yesterday I laughed, today I cry. What will tomorrow bring? Yesterday was filled with joy, hopes and dreams soon to be fulfilled. Today, there is pain and dissatisfaction, failure and losses abound. Yesterday, I climbed to the mountaintop. Today, I tumble to the valley below. But tomorrow, I must begin my climb again upward, remembering yesterday and today, recapturing hopes and dreams, never repeating failures, laying down burdens, finding a pot of gold, sharing experiences, creating a future from the past and the present, realizing that life is a mixture of good and bad, winning and losing, ups and downs, yesterday and today, believing that there will come a tomorrow.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. I love how it goes, because that's how life is. I'm at the top and I tumble down, but tomorrow I'm going to try again.
Yes.
Life is like that. Life is hills and valleys. It's mountain tops and valley lows.
Right.
That's just life. But we got to decide, I failed today. Every failure is not permanent. So I'm going to try again tomorrow. Right. We only learn when we learn and we move on with it. That's awesome.
Just build that spirit of resilience. So you really have to believe in yourself and build that spirit of resilience, because you're gonna fall. Stuff's gonna happen, but you have to believe in you.
Absolutely. Because my thing is, like, if I don't believe in me, then who will? Because anybody else can believe in you, but sometimes their belief is not enough to get you moving.
Not enough.
That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us, what inspired you to begin writing your book of poetry and your novel, your fictional novel?
I actually always wrote poetry, even as a little girl when I was in Jamaica. I was like the quiet one in the family. And that's what I love to read. And I would read any book I could get my hand on, and I would write stuff down, and I wrote poetry. And so then and then when I came to the US and whatnot, when they would be like Mother's Day or something, I would write my mother a little poem. So that's what I would do. And so that's how I really started writing poetry. And that's why I had enough poems to put in that chapbook. I have a lot more because I wrote so many mother poems. So that's really what started me writing there. And then my nieces and nephews actually kind of became my inspiration, because my family is very close knit, and I spend a lot of time. They're practically like my children. So but they spend so much time with me, and they always asking a lot of questions. And, you're the auntie, so you'll answer stuff that maybe mama won't answer. so because of that, they'd ask a lot of questions, and I'll tell them stories here and there, and they love the stories. And that just kind of said to me, hey, you should, put stuff down more, So I started putting stuff down more. And then several years ago, I had gotten somehow in touch with an online site. Someone was running an Everyday Power blog. And I started writing inspirational blogs for them. So I wrote inspirational blogs for them for many years. And then when the pandemic started in 2020, that was like the 50-year anniversary of when the tragedy happened in my family. And it started, and I just kind of sat back and said, you know what? I really need to I thought about everything, and I said, I really need to put this down. And so that's when I started just writing it all down. And so I wrote it all down, and then I published it last year. Yeah.
See, all it takes is something was sparked, a bit of inspiration, just a little spark. And if it's fanned with the unction of God, or if it's fanned with more creativity, more thoughts of it, it just becomes a wildfire that you cannot put out until you publish it.
Put out. Exactly.
I want to say to anyone that's aspiring to write a book, poetry, fiction, nonfiction, it doesn't matter. Once you get that little spark, do not fan it to put it out. Fan it so that it can grow and watch what happens.
Exactly.
I believe certainly that everyone has a story to tell. They just don't know how to tell it.
Yes.
Author Jackie chose 2 ways to tell her story: through poetry and through fictional writing. But what I love about her fictional writing is that it's based on actual events, and you can do the same. Maybe you might, I work with clients who want to tell their story, but there's some things that they don't want to share. So I think it's very, very good, a different avenue to make it a fictional story, so that you are comfortable telling these things, but from, although it's truth, but you are telling it in a fictional way.
Yes.
So you have avenues around this thing, you guys. There's many ways to tell your story without directly letting people know this is the truth, this is what happened, but there's ways you can do it.
Exactly.
So Miss Author Jackie, I just want to call you Miss Jackie. Out of respect, I just am just that. But Miss Jackie, what are you doing beyond just writing your book? What else is in the reins for you?
I don't, although I haven't written for Everyday Power blog in a while, they still post a lot of my old blogs, so those are out there. I've started blogging on my own site, so writings, www.writingsbyjackie.com. So I do blogs there, and I am actually now working on 2 new books that I hope to get out later this year.
I'm struggling to finish one.
So I'm hoping to get those out this year. So, we're working on those. And then I spend a lot of time actually doing like program planning for my church, just, trying to change up things and do things differently. So at each Sunday, each month, we'll come out, I'll work with a little small team, and we come up with a theme and say, this is our theme for the month, and then come up with, or create different little pieces that it may be a video piece or something like that, that we present to, really speak to that theme. So doing a lot of that, and always working with my nieces and nephews, or my great nieces and nephews, on whatever projects or whatever they're working on.
So you just stay busy.
Yes, I do. And it's work. I mean, I'm still working. I'm a documentation manager, and I do leadership management training, and I still do that from 9 to 5.
But beyond 9 to 5, you are a busy woman. Come on. I think that's awesome, because sometimes we can get so caught up in our 9 to 5 that we forget that we have the remaining 24 hours that need to be done. Something need to be filled. And I love that you're being productive with it, and just helping others and pushing them to see, like, listen, this is what I do for 9 to 5, but after that, I'm about to have some fun. My fun comes from serving and from helping people. So I love that.
And have fun too, because I love having fun.
Absolutely. If you can't have fun, I don't see the point.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm gonna get bored and want to go home.
Exactly.
So we are nearing the end, but I want to just know, like, what you said you have 2 more books coming out. Tell us a little bit about those, and then tell us how we can connect with you. I know you mentioned your website, so I want you to tell us about these 2 new books. Again, I'm struggling to finish one. Girl,
sure.
Showing out with 2.
One will be a longer book, more like a novel. The other one is like a novelette. They both have inspiring messages, but they both are going to present, as you say, fictional situations, but using experiences that I had in my, however many years of traversing the corporate professional world, and just building that in with, as you said, with my life as a Black woman and my life as an immigrant, and how, the clashes that came sometimes, or the mountains that I had to climb, and the situations, but, really looking at getting through that corporate world with those obstacles, etc.
Listen, as Black and brown people, other people don't understand. We have, your ladder is like, whew, but our ladder is like, oh, it's broken on this one. So now I gotta repair this before I can even go up a little. It's so much, or there's spikes on this part of the ladder. So now I gotta get some special gloves to climb over this. Our ladders are different. Our ladders are different. And for Black and brown people, I think it is when we are climbing, not even attempting, but when we are climbing the corporate ladder, we gotta have a lot thicker skin.
Oh yeah.
And there's the other people, we gotta endure more than other people. And then I think those things are in place to get us to stop. But when you have someone like you whose mom said, look, there's something
Exactly.
better
Yes.
on the other side of this ocean for my children. I'm going
Exactly.
for it. Then you can't help
Yes.
but
You
see
can't
and
help.
know that there's
Right.
more better and go after it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so, Miss Jackie, how can people connect with you? You did mention your website. So what other social media platforms are you on?
I am on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as J Walker Pat 1. So J Walker Pat and number 1.
Okay.
You can find me on those sites. Yes, and as I said, my website, writingsbyjackie.com.
Writingsbyjackie.com. Listen, authors, entrepreneurs, aspiring authors, y'all heard it. There's nothing you cannot do with your writings. You can take your real life and make it fictional and tell your story through poetry or through a novel. Miss Jackie about to write 2 books this year, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling quite ashamed of myself.
Oh.
Miss Jackie showing out. Showing out. So you guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in on this new episode of Black Authors Rock. Miss Jackie, do you have any final words for the people before we sign off?
Just again, from what you've been saying is, just to remember that, self-determination to overcome, that's going to outweigh any trial that you could ever come across. So just keep pressing on.
Keep pressing on. Listen, you have to run the race that was put in front of you. Don't worry about anybody else's race. Worry about yours. Run it. Okay. See what's at the end. Because I know I'm going to the end. Because I tell myself, I want to see what happens if I don't give up.
Right.
I don't give up. If I give up, I'll never know. And I can only assume. Yes. But if I don't give up, then I will see it. So I want to see it.
Exactly.
You guys, I am Ebony Nicole, the Vice President of the Rochester Black Authors Association. And I just want to thank Miss Jackie again for coming on and blessing us with her presence and telling us about who she is and about her beautiful story. If you would like to join us on the Black Authors Rock podcast, head on over to our website, rockbaa.org, to register. It is a free registration, but we do ask for a $10 donation. If you would like to, great. If not, don't worry about it. You can still come on and chat with your girl. If you're on Instagram, you can reach out to us on rock_BAA. Please like and follow us because we would love to stay in contact with you. On Facebook, we are under rock_BAA2015. You can find us there, and on YouTube under the Black Authors Rock. The Black Authors what is it? What is our website, y'all? It's so much going on in this head. The Rochester Black Authors Association. And also, as a reminder, we are still looking for authors. We have about 5 more seats left for this year's 6th annual Rochester Black Authors Expo, happening on June 4th here in Rochester, New York. It's only $100 for the 2 days. The first day is the meet and greet, which includes food. And then the next day is a packed day for us, okay? We have the Corey Lamar Tanksley Awards and Honors Brunch, the Expo, and then the after party is going to happen that day as well. So we want you to join us. If you are interested, if you want more information about the Expo, head on over to our website, rockbaa.org, for more information. So until next time, you guys, get your book done. No more delays, no more excuses. It is possible. Like Miss Jackie did, take your reality, make it a fictional story, and get it done. Take your reality, take your poems that you have written and put them in a book. Find a theme in your writing, put them in a book, publish them, and there you go, publish author. Till next time, see you guys soon.